Here we have part 2 of our Bucketsblog Power Ranking, where we'll now go from 25 to 20, and at 25 we now have the Orlando Magic. So what we're going to say about the Orlando Magic: new coach Scott Skiles and a roster full of young talent. What do we think about the Orlando Magic's chances in the Eastern Conference this coming year?
Well, I think the important part of that sentence is Eastern Conference, which obviously makes their schedule a little bit easier than some of these teams out west. I'm a little bit optimistic about this team. It's got a lot of young talent, like you say. We've got Peyton, who, although not a great shooter, could become a lockdown defender. He's got great length. We've got Victor Oladipo, I can't say his name.
Oladipo.
That's the one. That tongue-tied. Who we all like. Possibly getting the conversation for at least top 7 shooting guards in the NBA.
Well, now that you mention that, I think he might be in the top 5 for one person at least in our Bucketsblog positional rankings as well. Like Victor Oladipo.
Yeah, so
Victor Oladipo.
I've done it.
So yeah,
then Alec Harris, Vucevic again. He's putting up 20 and 10 basically every night. He's really a good player.
Very good player.
I think it all depends. Can one of these guys then pop out and become an all-star? Can become a leader? And I think if that's the case, I think these guys could be pushing for the playoffs, especially in the East.
This is a team that Jamie from our Bucketsblog group has pegged to be a lot better than people think, and maybe be challenging for a playoff berth, 8th or 9th seed. I don't know about that myself. I mean, I'm looking at it, I'm going, that's a really, really talented team, and the Eastern Conference is really, really poor. But at 9th, I mean, I'm looking at, if you're looking at 9th and you're looking at teams like the Nets, who I think are better. I think the Nets can edge them, just even if it is just because they're older,
more experience,
more the fact that they're more experienced. I think Victor Oladipo could jump out and be an all-star this season in the East. Now he is in the East, so that you have to prefix everything you say about this team has to be prefixed by the fact that they're in the East. So can Victor Oladipo be an all-star in the East? I think he could. I think there's a chance that he can be an all-star in the East. Kyle Korver was an all-star in the East last year, and I think he's better than Kyle Korver.
Yeah, I think it all depends how things go out this year. I like the young piece, also like the draftee Super Mario
Hezonja,
yeah. I think he's a great showing.
He's going to be such a good player. I think he's another player that's got experience playing against men in his NBA, quote unquote NBA ready already, at the moment. So I think he's going to hit the ground running as well and start contributing straight away. We all saw his dunk,
Yes.
Summer League. Yep. Super Mario. Another small ball team. They're clearly kind of with Jan Fry at that power forward spot. They're all these teams are starting to build in such a way that they've got a dominant kind of centre and the power forward that can stretch the floor. That they've got that. They tick all the boxes. The guys that can shoot from the outside as well. Elfrid Payton, what do we think? I mean, I always think of Rajon Rondo as a player comparison.
I really rated him last year, and I think with another year under his belt, he will become a lot better. It's still very questionable his offense. That's the thing.
Is he ever going to be a shooter? And is he ever going to be?
See, my worry is, does it become the Rondo in a championship team, or does it become the Rondo now, or even Ricky Rubio? Is that going to be his ceiling? That's where I start to.
Or is it going to be what happens if Rondo has a team all himself?
Oh jeez, yeah. And I think we've seen how that goes.
He's never appreciated for what he actually can do. He can't shoot. He can't hit free throws. He's not an offensive player. He's a good defender, above average defender for a point guard, which it factors into the matchup when this team has to play against established playoff teams, because their point guard's going to have a harder time than most. I don't know how it translates though. And we've got Scott Skiles who's the coach here now. There's going to be an effect. There's going to be a Scott Skiles effect on the toughness of this team. I guess that's about as much as you say. Maybe they'll be better than you expect them to be. They seem confident. That's the key thing that I kind of covered in my article, is that they think they're a playoff team now.
I think it all depends. We just need to see who steps up, if anyone. And if that happens, I think we'll agree they're going to be a little bit better than quite a few people think.
Yeah. So now we'll move on to number 24 in our ranking, which is the Brooklyn Nets. Again, another team where I found it difficult to rank them because I wasn't sure just what the effect is going to be on. Will the fact that they have veteran talent, shine through like it has done for the past few years? End of the Williams era, so no more Deron Williams. I thought it was a complete bust to begin with. I never rated Deron Williams. I've been saying this for years. Don't know why he's on Team USA. Never thought Deron Williams was a great player. not a player that you would build your team around anyway. When it came to that whole Jerry Sloan, is it going to be Jerry Sloan or Darren Williams? It's going to like I'm shouting at the TV. It's Jerry Sloan. He's proven he can do it. Darren Williams, like if he does well in another team, great. But you don't pick him over your coach that's been there for 20 years and got into the finals and everything. Darren Williams gone now, so now it's Jarrett Jack's kind of show to run from the point guard spot.
And that's really where this whole goes horribly wrong for the Nets, I feel anyway. When I was doing my rankings, it just seemed to me that every time I put their starting five up against any other one's starting five, they just kept slipping down and down and down and down. Jarrett Jack had a really good season, not last season but the season before, as a 6-man. Him as your starting point guard though is not going to be a good look.
My argument for Jarrett Jack, and albeit because it was limited opportunities as a starting point guard, when he was starting in place of Darren Williams, when Darren Williams was injured, he was averaging about 16 points a game, distributing the ball.
16-7, I think, was it? For a while.
Yeah, playing really, really well, and albeit in a limited role as a starter because he was coming in due to injury. Can he sustain that for a whole season? I don't think so. But what if he can? That's where the upside is for this. If he can manage to do that for a whole season as a starter, then it might not be as bad as we think.
See, I think the problem is you're saying, will he sustain 16-7? We'll call it that. The problem is Darren Williams, when he was here, he wasn't producing anywhere near that. He was what, maybe 12-6? Was that about right?
I couldn't say exactly what he's.
I think, but it wasn't as good as 16-7 for the last year, and so he's fallen off quite substantially. And look at the SS team: Joe Johnson. We joke about ISO Joe all the time, ball stalker. But come playoff time, he had some phenomenal.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. He did do well. Like I said, we watched it together actually because we were on Google Hangouts.
Yes.
An advert for Google Hangouts. We're on Google Hangouts a lot when the games are happening. I think I agree with you. The Nets did a lot better in that playoff series against the Hawks than I thought they would, and a lot of it was because of the player.
Well, I think immediately you guys were saying sweep, and I was like, no, I give them so much more credit. I think the same as this year. I'm not seeing them being a contender of any sort, but playoffs, I definitely think with former All-Star Joe Johnson, who can score in bunches if he has to. He's going to score about 18 a game during the regular season, but he can step up if he wants to. Not sure if his motivation's there. Brook Lopez, probably going to All-Star if he stays healthy all year. Although as the game's sort of going away from the low post style that he has.
He's one of the last kind of post offensive players.
But then,
which does it give them an advantage if they have that guy and a stretch guy? They don't. I don't know. I'm not convinced in Thaddeus Young is the stretch guy that they need for that. But like, if they can get a guy in there that can stretch the floor, does that give them an advantage?
You don't think Bargnani's going to step into that role and dominate?
No one's betting on that. No one's betting on Bargnani.
I think that's the only thing that I've got against them is the lack of defense and rebound. Between Young, Lopez, and Bargnani, you're maybe going to average 6 rebounds if you're lucky. 6 rebounds a game.
Well, some of them will be more than that because it'll be artificially boosted by the fact that some of them are falling to them.
I'm not sure they can get them if they fall in the lap. To be honest.
Yeah.
But I can see a team struggling rebounding and defensively. But other than that, I still give them an edge with their veteran players over some other young guys.
Again, what we mentioned as well, they have none of the hallmarks of a Lionel Hollins coached team. Again, maybe it's just me because I associate Lionel Hollins with the way that the Grizzlies played and the kind of tenacity and toughness. Games evolving away from that, but I don't see any of that in this team. I don't see the strong defense. I don't see them being a problem defensively for most of the teams, and I don't understand how on earth Andrea Bargnani still has an NBA contract. I don't get it. I don't get why people still think that he's worth paying in any role. Are they hoping that he's a stretch centre now? I mean, if he is, then yeah, I can see it. It's like Spencer Hawes, but worse. They've got.
And that's when you know you're in a bad situation.
Spencer
Hawes, but worse.
Yeah. So again, I don't want to harp on too much about it. Rondae Hollis Jefferson's a kind of upside there as well. He's like a lot of the rookies in the rookie survey like highlighted him as a player that could potentially do really well. And we'll see how that pans out for him. Maybe he's getting more of a role in this team because of how bad it might be. We'll move on to number 23 now, Los Angeles Lakers, where we'll spend a little bit more time talking about the Lakers. So is it Kobe's swan song? Is this the last year that we're going to have Kobe Bryant basketball?
Or is the last year we're going to see him in a Lakers uniform? Which is the other rumour that's been swirling.
They're talking about him potentially going to the Knicks and playing with Phil Jackson. I don't see it. I don't see Kobe Bryant. I'm going to say this now. I'm going to call it now. Kobe Bryant will never play for any other team other than the Los Angeles Lakers.
See, I don't see it happening. I just feel that he understands legacy a bit more than other players do, and I think for his legacy, I think he wants to stay a Laker his whole life. I think he likes the mystique of that. I think he likes the idea of
it demonstrates loyalty. How many teams can you say? How many players can you say have done that? Dirk Nowitzki, and Dwayne Wade are the only two notables I can think of. Marc Gasol
recently.
Yeah, recently who are and that never happens. You never get a player that stays with a team for their whole career. Tim Duncan, sorry. I don't know why you whispered that.
I really don't know why.
You said it louder and proved me wrong.
Yeah, shoot down tactic there.
Trying to be honest here, and just prop people up, but never mind.
Tim Duncan's one. But yeah, for that reason, I don't think he's. If he retires from the league, it will be as a Laker.
I think so too.
I actually do think this will be his last year, mainly because a lot of the issues that are in the Lakers ownership and stuff like that, I don't think they're going to do enough to keep him wanting to come back next year.
I think you'd more likely to retire than go to another team after that, though.
Yeah.
So you think that he's not going to stay hungry after this year? He's going to see there's too many years ahead of struggles.
I think it's going to be too much for him. I think he's just going to be like, let me in there. I want to fix this.
And it's probably
jump straight to the front office.
Yeah.
Well, we know there's probably a wink deal in place.
Well, if there is, then it would have been with Jim Buss's father, and
that's true.
not with the current administration, if you like. So who knows if that gets honoured in the same way it would have. I think you did a fool not to have Kobe Bryant involved in the franchise in some way. In the same way that for a long time players like Jerry West and Magic Johnson were involved. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar even was still involved.
The thing is, if you then give Kobe that front office role, is he going to help in attracting those free agents that the Lakers haven't been able to get?
This is something that Kobe Bryant has been unfairly tagged with. I don't think it's his fault that they're not attracting free agents. He's getting tagged with it. Maybe because of the fact that the meeting with LaMarcus Aldridge was so heavily publicised and how that didn't go well because of things that Kobe Bryant said. Like the main one being that he wanted Marcus Aldridge to be the Pau Gasol to his Kobe. I don't think that flew well with Marcus Aldridge, but I don't think that's the main reason why Marcus Aldridge didn't want to be a Laker.
Yeah, I think it's the media kind of jumping on the back of the kind of relationship that Kobe had with Dwight Howard, and the kind of the animosity that they left with. That's what the Lakers are using as kind of fuel to kind of steer the public's eye away from their office being bad and it being Kobe.
I think the Lakers organisation itself are very interested in Kobe Bryant coming off the books at the salary he's getting next season. So there's a whole. I think there is a bit of a campaign here to demonise Kobe Bryant as the guy. He's the root of the problems. We're okay if they want him to retire next season. I think it's totally unfair. I don't think he's the reason why. I think you're a fool if you're a player and you don't want to play with Kobe Bryant. In whatever role, if he wants to still be the guy, then why not? Like, I don't understand why is anybody else wanting to take that away from him? It's his team.
Well, everyone knows that he's got a bit of an ego. He thinks he is one of the greatest players ever. I don't think there's any argument here. Top 10 player all time.
He's a winner though. Surely the fact that he's a winner.
See, he's got. So he could say, "I want you to be the Gasol to my Kobe." Yeah, they won 2 championships that way. I'm not. He's not saying that in a case of you're in his second string. He wants to win a championship, so. You want to come and be with me when I have 5 rings. And
I don't even if he did say that to Marcus Aldridge, why would he's not? You're signing a 4-year deal. Why do you think that's going to be the case for the whole 4 years? Kobe Bryant is not going to be there for the whole 4 years of the deal you're about to sign. It's that's why I don't think it can possibly. Kobe Bryant can't be the reason why people aren't signing. It's because of the obvious dysfunction in the Lakers front office and the fact that they clearly have no idea what they're doing to try and move this team going forward.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the roster just now.
Yeah, now that we spoke about how they can't get players, let's spoke about what they actually did manage to.
Well, they got D'Angelo Russell, which is that's a great upside
for pick in the NBA draft.
So that's a great upside there. So they've finally got someone who can maybe share the ball with Kobe.
Well,
you didn't sound so sure there.
Yeah, what this all hinges on, a lot of young talent on the roster. Julius Randle, Jordan Clarkson, D'Angelo Russell. What it hinges on though is Kobe Bryant's willingness, looking at this roster, to say, okay, I don't think we're going to win an NBA title right now. The best thing I can do is try and create a legacy for the Lakers, and these guys, and trying to impart some of my knowledge and experience onto these guys and teach them how to be what I am. That's such an important thing for him to accept, though. I don't believe any of the bad press that says that he won't accept that role. I mean, there's no, like, Kobe Bryant wants his team to do well. He's invested as a Laker. There's no reason why he wouldn't.
I think, you look, is there a track record of Kobe failing to do so? I mean, up until a couple of years ago, they were contenders. He was looking towards titles. Then he's been injured. The only thing you can say, he's not held the hand of a young player, was maybe Dwight Howard, and even then, that's what Dwight needed. He probably needed a heavy hand to say, no, enough playing around.
Yeah,
Dwight, sit down, put some work in, because he was never.
He didn't need hand holding. He needed
he was well gone by that stage. He thought he was the face of everything.
Yeah, so this bad rap. There's not really a situation where Kobe's been rebuilding, he's been healthy, and he's had nothing but young talent. Or I say young talent because last year before,
Young is there.
Talent was not really awards. We saw. I'm not going to talk about the interview with Jeremy Lin and Carlos Boozer and Jordan Hill, which Kobe then saw in Fallon, which was ridiculous. He had literally no words to describe what he just witnessed, and
were you not just embarrassed on his behalf as well? You're going, I know, and you understood it. It's not like you're going, oh, he's maybe being a bit unreasonable. Like, you understood why he was so angry at that, because that's not a winning attitude, and that's not what you want.
I think you said it took a lot for Kobe not to immediately start back. He stayed silent, and
he's on live TV. He's been blindsided by this footage, and he was very professional. He didn't say anything that he shouldn't have had, and that's contrary to what the media would have us believe about how out of order Kobe Bryant is at every juncture. So I think Kobe Bryant will take on the role of a mentor here. He will mentor D'Angelo Russell and Jordan Clarkson, and to a lesser degree Julius Randle. I think that's more the responsibility of Brandon Bass to kind of bring him along. I think Julius Randle, I think he's a really, really good young prospect, maybe in the mould of a Zach Randolph. Again, the league is evolving away from that style of player, but if you've got a player that can give you a little bit of toughness beside a Roy Hibbert, who can only, I imagine, be better than he has been in the past couple of seasons because of the change of scenery.
I think everyone is still looking for Roy Hibbert. Pacers don't know where he went. He doesn't know where he went. I really don't see him actually getting any better Lakers. I think he's going to be on par.
I'm going to say
of last year.
He's too intelligent. And I don't mean in terms of basketball IQ, but he's very self-critical. He ties himself in knots with analysis and try to analyse himself, his own game, and it works to his detriment. I think the best thing that can happen is a change of scenery. There's other situations that I think would have been a better fit for him, but I think having being in a new team now, being in a new situation with a team that's saying, okay, we're investing in you now, we believe in you, I think it'll actually do better.
I think the scary thing about Roy Hibbert being your centre though at the Lakers, he's moved from the Eastern Conference to a stronger Western Conference where it's more heavily dependent and more heavily kind of focused towards this small ball. Can he do that? Can he become a small ball centre?
Well, again, he said
not with Julius Randle beside him. That's the problem.
You also need somebody to go up against the Dwight Howards, the Marc Gasols of the world. So,
and don't underestimate how much of a rim protector Roy Hibbert is, even when he's not playing well offensively.
The advanced stats goes crazy on him. It's just such a shame that the Los Angeles Lakers don't know anything about advanced stats, as was me playing the Cleveland free agency.
Wait till you see how they fill a hole now by having a rim protector that they didn't have in Jordan Hill, and wait to see how bad the Pacers are now on the inside. Just wait to see it.
That'll be interesting to see.
Well, that's also the David West effect as well.
That's true.
So,
Roy Hibbert's a rim protector. I mean, I think it's not a. I mean, it's the plan C or D. It's not what they wanted, but I don't think it's a disaster. They've got a lot of young talent. There's a lot to be positive about. Anyway. Apart from the front office, the only thing that can ruin this is the front office not knowing what it's doing.
They did pick up Lou Williams as well, so there's something very positive about
that. He's a good player, great six man. His role now clashes for me in terms of where is Nick Young? How do you use Nick Young in conjunction with Lou Williams? I don't really get it. Unless you're moving everybody up a spot, so Kobe Bryant and Nick Young are now small forwards, but they're also talking about bringing in Metta World Peace again. I just don't understand it. This is what I mean about organisational dysfunction. It doesn't look like they really understand or know what they're doing. Perimeter defence might be a problem here as well. D'Angelo Russell had a really bad summer league, we have to say. More turnovers than points, so that's a problem. But I believe in Kobe Bryant to take the role on and help him out. We'll move on now to number 22, the Detroit Pistons. I've mentioned this in the article that I wrote about the Pistons, that for maybe 2 or 3 years now I've been saying this is the year that the Pistons get good again, and it hasn't happened. So
you believe in Stan Van Gundy?
It's not Stan Van Gundy I believe in, but I like the way they're going now. I like the way that they're shifting towards a small ball. I think Andre Drummond's a really good guy to have in a small ball style, because I think without having Greg Monroe clogging up some of the paint for him, I think he's going to have a better year offensively.
Yeah. Well, I think is that an example of addition by subtraction, because obviously they lost Josh Smith, they got better because there was more ball to go around between the two best players, Monroe and Drummond. Now you take away Monroe, Drummond was 14 points a game, 12 rebounds. Is there now more time for him to learn how to become that post presence? Also, you know, support him by having loads more shooters around him. Monroe, although he can stretch the floor to maybe 16 feet, still clogged the paint up a little bit. Now he's have more space to operate. This team really reminds me of the old Orlando teams where it was Dwight Howard and a lot of shooters, obviously coached by Stan Van Gundy.
I don't know if they have a lot of shooters though. That's the thing.
Well, Reggie Jackson, not so much. KCP, yes. Meeks, yes. Granger can be. Stanley Johnson could develop. Marquise Morris, even Ilyasova. Ilyasova can stretch floor.
That's the key addition to the team, is moving Greg Monroe. But I don't think it was. I mean, I've listened to the podcast on the Low Post where they had Stan Van Gundy on talking about it, and it was 50-50 apparently in his head whether they would retain him or not. And they've went this way. I think it is the better way to go, because you can't have those two guys clogging the paint, and Ersan Ilyasova is the perfect guy to complement small ball. Yeah. You know, a small ball kind of dominant.
The only bad thing about getting Ilyasova as your power forward is to give up a lot of defense.
That's true.
So hopefully Drummond can make up for quite a lot of that, but we'll see how it goes. But I just think that it's quite interesting that he's got such a similar player, and it's Drummond is just, he is Dwight Howard 2.0. You know, it's
it's a resurgence of that 2009 Orlando Magic team looking like where they're going. Only they don't have as good. I don't think the shooters are as good for it. I don't think they can really play in exactly the same way.
They may not be as good for it, but I think the backups that they do have are better.
Yeah. Plus the question is, Jennings and Reggie Jackson, is that a better combination than it was Jimmy and Nelson and? Well, I don't know actually. Is that a better combination of the one guard to complement?
Well, I'll say
get their own shots.
When Jimmy Nelson was an all-star in one of those years.
Well, is this now the time?
Very, very good, but they didn't have a backup to him that was effective. I think Reggie Jackson's maybe exactly where that was. I think where Jimmy Nelson was at the time. He's really, really good. You have to his stats for when he get moved to Detroit. You know, his overall season stats are skewed by how much he played for the Thunder. His just the Detroit stats are something like 17 and 9, like a ridiculously good stat. He played really, really well for the Pistons, which is why he get paid. It moves Brandon Jennings now, I think, to a 6-man role, which I think, in my opinion, actually suits Brandon Jennings better as well, because he doesn't have that playmaking responsibility anymore.
Streaky shooter.
He can come on and be a scorer now. So I think I like the way that the roster is now starting to move. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, though, he's going to be a player now where he's going to be scrutinised a little bit more in the next year or two, because you're now starting to think, is he a kind of shooting guard that we want to build a franchise around? At the moment he is, beside Reggie Jackson, Andre Drummond, and now Stanley Johnson, who could be Rookie of the Year. Like if the rookie survey is right, most of the rookies agreed that he's the runaway candidate for Rookie of the Year. He's going to be a good perimeter defender for them, which is something that they don't have. I don't know how good he's going to be as a scorer in the NBA. He's an interesting case, because just like Mitch McGarry from last year when he played for Michigan, I watched so many of his games just because they were the games that came on TV. Stanley Johnson's games came on TV a lot for me in the past year, so I watched a lot of Stanley Johnson. He was a good defender, a tenacious defender, athletic, but a lot of his scoring was coming on the breakaway. So it's hard for me to get an idea of how well he'll fit into an NBA offense. So I'm not sure about that, but he'll give you tenacity, energy, and athleticism, and good defense. How he fits into a small ball, though, that's still the question mark for me, is how his talents fit into a small ball offensive game. And who's the leader of the team? You know, who's the kind of, I think it's probably going to be Danny Granger. I don't know how many minutes Danny Granger will play, but he's the only one there for me that's qualified to pull everybody in. And go, right guys, listen, this is what we're going to do, this is what I've done before, this is my experience in trying to impart.
It's going to have to be between Van Gundy and Granger. There's not really much experience elsewhere.
Yeah. But the way it's setting up is Reggie Jackson, with the 9 assists, if he can sustain that for a whole season, then they're going to be they'll be happy with that. Any team will be happy with getting 9 assists at their point guard. The only other two point guards I can think of off the top of my head that do that are John Wall and Chris Paul. So you're getting that great contribution straight away from your point guard. Brandon Jennings coming off the bench, and Andre Drummond, dominating inside. in a small ball lineup, I think it works. I think this might be the year where Detroit can snag maybe the 8th seed. But I have said that for 3 years in a row.
So we'll see how that one ends
So
up.
we'll see how it goes. It's all down to Stan Van Gundy and how that pans out. At number 21 we have the Charlotte Hornets. I don't know what really. There's not a lot you can say about the Charlotte Hornets. They have
That's the one Michael Jordan owns, right?
yeah. That's
He
them.
was a good player.
I've heard of him.
Yes.
Heard of him. Is he not just usually sitting on the bench smoking a cigar?
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the one. Yeah.
The most exciting thing about the Charlotte Hornets is the fact that Michael Jordan is the owner of the Charlotte Hornets. They do have talented players though. Let's not undersell them. They do have some talented players. Al Jefferson, I think, is the number one best traditional post player in the NBA. If you want inside buckets, the number one guy. Oh, actually, Pau Gasol. The number two guy, the number one or two guy.
I'll say Al Jefferson is the number one
Guy,
Traditional
the guy that you remember about who's a post player.
I think he's the number one guy. Get bumped, toss up a really freaky hook shot, and it still goes in, and he gets fouled, and you're like, what? And you see it 5 or 6 times a game, and it's really annoying. It's really frustrating.
And for me, last year in the playoffs when they played, was it the first round against the Heat? I think the first round against the Heat. The Heat got the back then it was the Bobcats. Al Jefferson was injured and he played such a good series even though he was injured. He was absolutely beaten up on the Heat because that was their main weakness, is they couldn't defend on the inside. He's such a good player, so I have a whole new respect for Al Jefferson in his game now. He's a great player, great piece, and I think he's rededicated a bit longer term to playing in Charlotte. Kemba Walker at the point guard spot, I'll mention again, I always rate my teams in my articles compared to where their point guard is in terms of other point guards in the league. Kemba Walker is a player that we thought was going to be like a top 6 or 7 point guard, and he hasn't reached that potential. He's not as good as what we thought he could be. Gavin Callender's going to, he's one of our Bucketsblog contributors. He's going to listen to this and he's going to throw up in his mouth because he loves Kemba Walker so much. But
Sorry, Gav. Sorry,
Gav. He hasn't reached his potential though. He's not a good enough point guard for the Charlotte Hornets to become an elite team in the East. With the drafting of Frank Kaminsky, they're clearly going in a small ball direction as well. He's a kind of centre that can shoot from range. He's probably going to play a bit power forward to complement the inside game of Al Jefferson, so that they're now stretching the floor to give him more room inside. Frank Kaminsky at the moment, we don't know if he's proven at NBA level, but he was shooting.
He can stretch the floor. The problem is you've had the one guy that can stretch the floor to go along with Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, who does anything but stretch the floor. Yeah. He struggles with anything outside of 3 feet. So you're putting a guy who's basically Tony Allen, who, if you've seen the Spurs Memphis, if you've seen the Spurs Memphis season where it's Zach Randolph's getting triple teamed every single possession because no one's guarding Tony Allen and no one's guarding Tayshaun Prince, I get the feeling Michael Kidd-Gilchrist is probably going to fit into that mold. So yeah, they're stretching the floor, but they've also got a guy who you're just going to leave alone. You're not even going to guard. Then you've got Nicholas Batum, who they brought across from the Trailblazers.
He's a good piece, just on the wrong team. I think he's going to be jaded and disenchanted with what's going on at the Hornets. He's not
he was a guy who filled in holes where, so he could get a triple double, get a little bit of points, a little bit of rebounds, a little bit of assists. The problem is he's not being asked to do little bits of everything. He's asked to do a whole lot now. Yeah. Which is the problem. He's not the kind of guy that's going to go out and get 18, 5 and 5. He's going to get 10 points, 8 or 9 rebounds, 5 or 6 assists, which good, fantastic for a role player, but that's not what this team needs. They need somebody who can contribute a bit more. He could fill that role, but chances are he's going to struggle.
He's going to struggle to stay healthy for the whole season. That's the thing. I think he's going to struggle.
It's more to me. I don't think he will be motivated to play well for this team. We saw what happened to Enes Kanter when he was moved from a mediocre situation to playing an actual significant basketball. This is the opposite, because he's moved from playing significant basketball with the Trailblazers now to where anything he does doesn't matter anymore. So he's going to be jaded. He's going to be disenchanted. He's not going to be interested really in playing.
The one silver line of this team is the Eastern Conference.
They're in the Eastern Conference, yes. And they now have Jeremy Lin, so could there be a resurgence of Linsanity?
No.
After a 5-year break?
No.
From Linsanity? No. I don't think so either. Especially given that the security at the training facility didn't even recognise him and weren't prepared to let him in to go and train.
didn't recognise their new backup point guard, which is always a good sign for a team.
I actually follow Jeremy Lin on Twitter, and he posted.
I did as well. I seen this.
He posted.
This always happens to me. Yeah.
Yeah. He also posted. What was it? Something along the lines of. At work alone, so it seemed like no one told him that train was on at a different place. So I'm not going to lay it all on the security guard there.
Or is he actually a harder worker than the rest of them?
No, I think they just. I just don't think they told him where they were training.
That's a function. Anyway, that's about as much as you can say for the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, as exciting as it gets.